Hello, Gary.
Hello.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi,
Hello.
hi, Charlotte.
Are you using your new iPad, Paul?
Yes. I'm getting accustomed.
Okay, just a
Nice and
second.
clear.
I'll lose it on the screen if I don't. Okay, it is 828-2498.
Oh, oh, oh. Go to
Oh,
sleep.
Charlotte's falling asleep.
Yep. Is this going to mess up the people wanting to watch it on YouTube? Are you going to have to redo something with that? Bad question, huh?
Oh, Charlotte, I'm sorry, what did you say?
Oh, who's asleep? I said.
I was
is this-
texting, I'm sorry.
Is this going to mess up the YouTube thing? Do you have to redo that?
That's gonna be a Justin question.
Oh,
I also am recording it on the cloud. So that from the cloud, then I put it onto our website.
well, yeah, but that's not doing it live.
True. Again, that's a Justin question. I don't know.
Justin says he's not coming now.
What? He's here. Hold on, I'm just now admitting him.
Well, I was lying anyway.
Okay. So Justin, Charlotte was asking if now the YouTube is going to be confused by which one we're live streaming. Or,
I mean, I think as long as they're linked, I don't think it should matter. Let me see because the link we put on the city website only goes to the general YouTube site, which would then allow them to click on the live video. But I'm going to look at our the city's YouTube site to see what shows up there. Hold on one second.
all right.
I'm glad I'm not a techie.
So can I use that link every week then, Justin, the one you sent me?
Should be able to, yeah, because it just points you to the city's main thing. I'm not seeing a live video, Carrie. Was there a streaming set up for the YouTube?
You had to ask that question.
No, I recorded it to the cloud. So did you set it up last week?
I'm putting it in just exactly the way. Maybe there's a different password for you than there is for me.
It shouldn't
Is
be.
that possible?
There shouldn't be.
Well, I'm going to try the 355262 Outlook calendar. What the hell's that?
Click on that one.
Oh, it just booted him out for saying that bad word.
No, the calendar thing just popped up.
3552.
So can you bring your Outlook calendar up on your iPad?
Yeah, I did already. Didn't do anything.
So can we go, Carrie, this is not live streaming?
No.
It should be
I
live.
got it. And I've got it. Please wait. The meeting host will. Joe, it was the 6th, not the 7th.
Okay, so just hold on. She's going to let you in a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. I got it.
She's got it.
Okay, so Justin, how do we get
There
back
it is.
to?
Yay.
Okay, start
Oh,
video.
no, it says recording. No, it's recording on the cloud.
I know it's recording, but we need to have it live streamed as well. Last week it live streamed. It was on YouTube live stream. And that's how
Yeah.
people are looking to get to the meeting.
Yes. And that, did you set that up?
I don't set that up now.
Did you do that link? Because I don't remember doing it last week.
I don't know how it got set up last week. I was not responsible for setting it up last week.
Uh-oh.
Okay, can anyone see me or not?
Nope.
Not yet.
We
Not
can't
yet.
hear you.
You need to click on the video at the bottom of the screen with where the hash mark is running through it.
It's not
Oh,
there.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Let me go back. It's that more button that,
Carrie, I have a red mark at the top with a line going through it that says start video.
Yeah, click on it.
okay, you know what, Justin?
There,
There it
that
is.
We are.
should
There
have,
you are.
It's the more.
Gosh, unbelievable.
So what are we doing now? Nothing? We're not videoing?
No, I am. Hold on.
All right.
Live
So Carrie,
streaming?
we all do not have the same password?
I don't have a password.
I just
Well,
click on
that's
the
not-
link and I come.
Joe
Password
gave
filled
me
in.
one password and I had another. Disgusting.
Boy, Jack, you aged over 1 week.
I know it. I feel like I'm 100.
Actually, he aged that just trying to get in here.
Oh, my.
Okay, Robert, if he hasn't said it yet, has told
I'm
me.
working on it.
Oh, you're
Trying to
working on
look
it?
for myself right now. Hold on.
Oh, I'm doing it too, Robert, so I guess we're both
You
crossing.
have to go to
each other out.
more. There's
I
a
just,
button.
yeah, I just hit the more.
There should be a note there that says live or connect to like YouTube or Facebook.
I did the
Like a
YouTube.
video.
I did the YouTube.
Okay.
And then it said to go to your account,
Okay. Hold on.
and I did the Norton 4060.
Okay.
Let's try not to like say all the passwords out loud on the stream.
Right.
Thanks.
Hold on.
The password is password.
Thank you.
Oh,
I know.
Boy.
Are you working now to get it on YouTube? Is that what you're doing now?
yes.
Okay. Because I have YouTube up on my screen TV and I wondered, I didn't see it yet, so.
Yeah, I'm checking as well as we go through it.
Robert, are you still working on it or am I?
I'm trying to. The problem is I'm not logged in on my on the iPad. I'm trying to do it on my phone because I'm on the pad. So it's not.
Paul, I'm glad to see we've got you with us this week, and
So far.
seems like it's working okay, right?
So far.
I like his background.
Right?
Well, I figure we got to say the pledge at some point. So
That's right. Exactly. Thank you.
If not,
I brought one.
I did like
All
Paul.
right.
hold on. Let me see.
Okay, it says
Robert,
meeting now
I've got-
streaming live on YouTube.
I've got preparing to go live on YouTube.
I know, but mine
Oh,
says
yeah, there
meeting
it
is now
says.
streaming.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay.
All right. We have everybody here. It looks like we're recording. It looks like we're live on YouTube at this point. Is that correct, Carrie?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
I don't see you. I don't see us, so.
Not yet.
I put it on both, recording on the cloud.
All right. All right, we're gonna get started. We'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Moment of silent reflection. This is the Norton City Council regular agenda for Monday, April 27th, 2020. Please rise.
So I've risen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag.
Of the
of the
United
United States of America
States
and
of
to
America.
the republic for which it
To
stands,
stand.
Nation,
Nation. God,
liberty and justice for all.
liberty. Okay. All right. Here we are.
All righty. Go ahead.
Oh, boy.
Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Mr. Gaynor,
Here.
Mr. McClone,
Here.
Mr. Carrot,
Here.
Mr. Towesley,
Here.
Ms. Whipke,
Here.
Mr. Pilat.
Where is he?
Where'd Pilar go?
Oh, wait a minute. He's coming in. Hold on. I don't know.
Oh, God. I seen Robert fall off the earth a minute ago.
Scott, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Would you call the
Mr.
roll again,
Kernan.
please? Start over again, Carrie.
Mr. Gaynor,
Present.
Mr. McClone,
Here.
Mr. Carrot,
Here.
Mr. Towesley,
Here.
Ms. Whipke,
Yeah.
Mr. Pilat,
Here.
Mr. Kernan.
Here. It's my understanding we did not receive any communications from the public by today.
That is correct.
All right. Then under consideration of the minutes of the prior meetings, the minutes of the regular council meeting of March 9th, 2020, are there any additions, corrections, or deletions to those? Hearing none, that those will be accepted as submitted. The minutes of the regular council meeting of March 23rd, 2020, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to those? Those will be accepted accepted as submitted. The minutes of the committee work session of April 20th, 2020, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to those? And they will be accepted as submitted. Are there any reports from officers, boards, and commissions? Mayor Zita?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just real quick, I just want to announce, you guys probably already know, but as of today, the trash and recycle should be back on target. What we did is they're picking up trash today, as well as any containers that are out, whether it's a trash container or a recycle container. The public is supposed to pick it up today and tomorrow. It'll leave all the containers completely empty, and then starting next week, we're hoping to put the trash in the trash and the recycle in the recycle. And then we're going back to pre-COVID pickups. So however it was done prior to all this starting, we're going to go right back into the every other week as far as your recycling. But it'll all start with completely new containers starting today or starting tomorrow, and then the rest of the week, then we'll start putting recycles in the recycle bin and trash in the trash bin, and hopefully go straight from there.
So Mayor, nothing outside the trash outside of the cans will not be picked up then?
No, basically that was supposed to start today too, today and tomorrow. Any yard waste or bulk pickup. I did talk to the manager this morning, and my understanding is, though, if you've got large bulk items that you're putting out at the curb, they're asking that you kindly let them know, so that if they need to send an extra truck, if it's mattresses and box springs and big stuff,
Okay.
they'll need to know that. But if you're putting stuff, yard waste and that out next to your cans on the unrestricted pickups, pretty much, those should get picked up.
Okay.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yep.
just to let me clarify, because
Yeah.
I feel a little dense on this, but when you said you put both cans out tomorrow, did you mean both are going to be treated as trash, and next week the recycling will be handled as recycling?
Correct. Because
Okay.
today, the only thing is, when they let us know on Friday, I know Paul brought that to our attention, but when they let us know late last week that they were going to start this week, there's already a week's worth of trash possibly put in recycle cans. So we want to go through, give it a 1 week. He told me today, he said they might have a recycle truck out, and if they see, if they go through some of the cans and see it's all recycled, they may pick it up, but very likely that anything in recycle cans today and tomorrow will probably end up in the landfill. Then starting next week, the recycle will start in the recyclable process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before you move on, Mayor,
Yeah.
I think it was on Facebook today, somebody asked, are the containers at City Hall going to be returned soon?
Yeah, we're probably, I talked to Robert this afternoon, probably next week or the week after. Within the next couple of weeks, we'll have them up there. We're going to get them back in there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so they'll be there shortly.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Mayor, anything else?
No, that'll be all I have for now.
Mr. Fowler?
Let me unmute. Okay, real quick. I know some of you know that the paving's going on as scheduled. They'll be out paving late tonight till dark, trying to get everything that they ground covered because of the weather predictions tomorrow. So the paving continues. We have a staff meeting this week. We're going to be requesting that the 10 to 15% reductions be ready by, they will not be ready for your next committee work session. It is our hope that we have them prepared for you by the following committee work session, which will be May 18th. So we're going to, Ms. Keener and I sat this afternoon, talked about different things we were trying to prepare, but our intention is to prepare an ordinance for you to review on May 18th. 5 of our local companies, I hope you all received that information that if you pass that ordinance tonight, those 5 companies will receive funding. There were 6 that did not receive funding through the county, but you know, a majority of our businesses did, and they will be helped by that program. So thank you for your consideration. And then lastly, I did copy you on the email I sent to all the managers today with the governor's announcement this afternoon. We will be modifying our operations at City Hall. They will be by appointment only. People will need to make an appointment with the respective individual, whether it's zoning, planning, administration, finance, whomever, in order to gain access. We will also provide staff with masks and bags for them to maintain several masks over a period of a week. We are using CDC recommendations on those. We will make sure that you know, we have our social distancing, and also we will be installing some plexiglass where people deal with the public. But it is our intention as of now, May 4th, which will be next Monday, we will be back to normal operations. And that's all I had.
What do you mean by bags?
Carla,
Well, the CDC recommends putting the masks in paper bags and letting them sit.
Okay.
So we're going to provide the staff with bags and masks,
Okay,
and
I got you.
multiple, so they can have extras, and if they need to dispose of them, they can.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Fowler, are they going to provide like Lysol and stuff like that so they can wipe down their workstations?
Yeah, good point. Thank you. Yes, we had provided hand sanitizer to every person. We had 2 little bottles. We have extra of that. We also had provided everyone with wipes. I told the mayor that after we have our staff meeting on Wednesday and we discussed the transition, that we will, I'm going to try to go find some more to make sure that everybody has. I had you know, a Costco brand, you know, I think there's about 100 wipes in a unit. So I think we had 8 of those when this started, and my intent is to go pick up another one if we can.
And then I saw that you had sent out an email regarding the tax assistance for the
CCA?
city. Yes.
Okay.
And when that would be taking place, or what's going on with that, I guess, just so the public knows.
Well, CCA is still on modified operation. Pam Ms. Keener speaks to the individual of CCA almost every day right now, but I would defer to her in that because she has those. I don't think they've set when they're coming back, but I would ask her to opine on that.
Yeah, that's correct. Not at this time. I have not heard anything.
Okay, but just so people know that, it is moved out till July, whatever, for the filing date. And once things get back to normal, then we'll try to get assistance for people needing help with their taxes.
Absolutely. Yep.
Anything else?
No, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Keener.
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Mr. Markey?
Nothing this time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We don't have any public hearings tonight, so introduction of new legislation, ordinance number 47, 2020. Ms. Whipke.
Thank you, Mr. President. I introduce ordinance 47, 2020 for its first reading. Ask clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance to amend the appropriations for the current expenses of the city of Norton for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, authorizing amendments to the certificate of estimated resources of the city for calendar year 2020 and declaring an emergency.
Sorry about that. I found my dots over here. And this is where we are bringing our annual appropriations and estimated resources into compliance for the year, and we need to get this done as soon as possible. So I'm going to motion to waive the second and third readings on ordinance 47, 2020, and this does have emergency language.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to waive the second and third readings of ordinance number 47, 2020. Is there any discussion regarding waiver? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke,
Yes.
Mr. Pelot,
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor,
Yes.
Mr. McClone,
Yes.
Mr. Carratt,
Yes.
Mr. Towesley,
Yes.
Mr. Kernan.
Yes.
And at this time, I motion to adopt ordinance 47, 2020.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 47, 2020. Is there any discussion or questions? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke,
Yes.
Mr. Pelot,
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor,
Yes.
Mr. McClone,
Yes.
Mr. Carratt,
Yes.
Mr. Towesley,
Yes.
Mr. Kernan.
Yes. Ordinance number 48, 2020. Ms. Whipke.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I introduce ordinance 48, 2020 for its first reading. Ask clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance authorizing transfers from the general fund for calendar year 2020 and declaring an emergency.
This is for bringing our budget up to date by transferring the funds from the general fund into the various individual funds when we need to get this done as well to make auditors and everybody happy. So at this time, I motion to waive the second and third readings on ordinance 48, 2020.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to waive the second and third readings of ordinance number 48, 2020. Is there any discussion regarding waiver at this time? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke,
Yes.
Mr. Pelot,
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor,
Yes.
Mr. McClone,
Yes.
Mr. Carratt,
Yes.
Mr. Towesley,
Yes.
Mr. Kernan.
Yes.
This time I motion to adopt ordinance 48, 2020.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 48, 2020. Is there any further discussion or questions? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke,
Yes.
Mr. Pelot,
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor,
Yes.
Mr. McClone,
Yes.
Mr. Carratt,
Yes.
Mr. Towesley,
Yes.
Mr. Kernan.
Yes. Ordinance number 49, 2020. Mr. Towesley.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I offer ordinance 49, 2020 for its first reading, and I ask the clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of equipment from B&C Communications for the police department in an amount not to exceed $15,476 and declaring an emergency.
And I believe at this time that is just the first reading.
That's what
I'm
I
just curious, is the police car's not in yet?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Towesley.
Thank
Ordinance
you.
number 50, 2020, Ms. Whipke.
Mr. President, I introduce ordinance 50, 2020 for its first reading. Ask clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance authorizing the administrative officer to apply for and take further actions as necessary to accept the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, NOPEC 2020 Energized Community Grant and declaring an emergency.
Yeah, this is an application to get a grant from NOPEC on our gas aggregation that we have with them for $750, and we need to have this in by May in order to be able to get it. So I'm going to be looking to waive the second and third readings on this also and make that motion now.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to waive the second and third readings of ordinance number 50, 2020. Is there any discussion regarding waiver? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke?
Yes.
Mr. Pelot?
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor?
Yes.
Mr. McClone?
Yes.
Mr. Carratt?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. Kernan?
Yes.
If nobody has anything else, I make a motion to adopt ordinance 50, 2020.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 50, 2020. Is there any further discussion or questions? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke?
Yes.
Mr. Pelot?
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor?
Yes.
Mr. McClone?
Yes.
Mr. Carratt?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. Kernan?
Yes. Ordinance number 51, 2020, Ms. Whipke.
Thank you, Mr. President. I introduce ordinance 51, 2020 for its first reading. Ask clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance authorizing the city to participate in the Summit County COVID-19 Small Business Emergency Relief Fund Program, authorizing the execution and delivery of an agreement with the Greater Akron Chamber of Commerce in furtherance thereof and declaring an emergency.
This legislation is where we've contributed $25,000 for at least 5 of our businesses in Norton to receive $5,000 a piece in order to help them get through this COVID crisis. And we need to get that done and taken care of ASAP as well. So again, I will make a motion to waive the second and third readings.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to waive the second and third readings of ordinance number 51, 2020. Is there any further discussion regarding waiver? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke?
Yes.
Mr. Pelot?
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor?
Yes.
Mr. McClone?
Yes.
Mr. Carratt?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. Kernan?
Yes.
This time I motion to adopt ordinance 51, 2020.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 51, 2020. Is there any further discussion regarding the ordinance?
Just a quick question for Mr. Fowler. Did you say that this was for 5 businesses?
Yes, 5 businesses each get $5,000 each.
And then we had 6 that did not receive funds.
I believe there were 6 that were not, and I don't have those businesses named. I can get those for you.
Okay.
I've got a further question.
Mr. Towesley, go ahead.
Yeah, where does the county come in on this? In other words, do they have a commitment to us for further funds?
I know some, so we're funding 5 businesses, and then the rest stay in the, what we'll call the general. So there's like $1.5 million of other monies, and those other businesses stay in consideration for those funds. What I'd asked the chamber to do was to give me the 5 businesses that they were recommending for funding that we would guarantee. And those were the 5 businesses I sent to you this afternoon.
Okay.
So it's possible
so,
we still will get more.
Yes, yes.
So should council decide that they wanted to go further, at what point will we know what the county is committing to so we have an idea?
I would say very soon because they're trying to turn these around quickly. I mean, I'd assume by the end of this week at the latest, but I can ask that question.
Paul, are you talking about whether council would allocate more funds?
Yeah, just so we have an idea of what we're working with if it were in our desire to go further.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Right.
I mean, I think it's at the end, I think there's 5 of, 30 or 29 applicants, almost 30. I'll try to get you an answer. Can I say that I'm just genuinely concerned about our financial position? I know we're saving money here. Could I say we would recommend maybe 2, 3, 4 more? I just don't want someone to get left out, and I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, maybe we can get a little more information and talk about it a little bit.
We can do that. I'll work on
When
that.
you talk to county, can you also ask them, is whatever the pool amount is right now, is that from that first government stimulus package, or does that include the second, or not at all?
This is not stimulus money. This is the county, the city, some CDBG dollars. So those have to be earmarked for certain low to moderate income areas, which unfortunately we don't have for that purpose. And then there was one anonymous donation and another donation totaling about $300,000 to help businesses. So I want to say that number was like 1.5 million. And then Barberton put 100,000 in. I think Green put 100,000 in. A lot of other cities put significantly more money than we're putting in, but I mean, we're trying to be conservative.
Were there any?
These businesses can still apply for loans through the Small Business Association, things like that.
Yeah, this program does not preclude you from any other application. Initially, we looked at, or they did, not me, I wasn't involved. They looked at using the small business fund as a way to help offset some of that, but I believe they chose a different route because they were worried about the amount of money some of those businesses may have got. So they were looking at other things.
Okay.
Without, if I could, without naming any communities, were there any communities, Robert, that did not contribute?
Mr. Gaynor, I cannot speak to that. I know Bath. Everyone on our weekly conference call, Bath, Fairlawn, most of those communities did participate.
Right.
Okay.
And we're still having those weekly conference calls, by the way, just so council knows that.
Yes.
All right. Had you made a motion and was there a second? I don't remember at this point.
We did
Yes, there was motion and a second.
To adopt?
We did and we accepted it.
Carrie, was there a motion second to adopt?
I am looking, I've got,
The wave, I know.
yes.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a motion.
I seconded.
And then Mr. Pila, and then he asked questions.
All right. There's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 51, 2020. Is there any further discussion or questions? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke?
Yes.
Mr. Pila?
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor?
Yes.
Mr. McClone?
Yes.
Mr. Tarrant?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. Kernan?
Yes. Ordinance number 52, 2020, Ms. Whipke.
Thank you, Mr. President. I introduce ordinance 52, 2020 for its first reading. Ask clerk to read it, please.
An ordinance to authorize an agreement for property and casualty insurance and declaring an emergency.
It kind of faded out there a little bit,
Yeah.
Carrie. Could you read it again?
Oh, sure. An ordinance to authorize an agreement for property and casualty insurance and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. We need to get our insurance in place, and I believe everyone received a copy of the updated legislation that included the mayor's, acknowledging the mayor's signature in order for this to go into effect immediately as an emergency language. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. This is for the city's insurance policy for liability. We're having a new carrier, Whitaker Myers Insurance Services, and the policy will be through the Ohio plant, not to exceed $87,534, which is actually quite a drop from what we would have been paying our previous supplier, as well as we're going to get a 50% savings on the police's Lexipol programs for this year, and then 30% next year and 20% the following year. As we do need to get this done as soon as possible, I motion to waive the second and third readings.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to waive the second and third readings of ordinance number 52, 2020. Is there any further discussion regarding waiver?
At this time, I motion to adopt ordinance 52.
Wait. We need to take a vote on the waiver.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is there any further discussion regarding waiver?
Mr. President, just for clarification, this needs to be done tonight because it takes place tomorrow. Is that correct? The new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Fowler?
Yeah, just so we know that our insurance technically expires tonight at midnight. So that's why we had to add the emergency clause and pass it tonight.
Okay. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke?
Yes.
Mr. Pelot?
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor?
Yes.
Mr. McClone?
Yes.
Mr. Carratt?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. Kernan?
Yes.
This time I motion to adopt ordinance 52, 2020.
I'll second.
There's a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 52, 2020. Is there any further discussion? Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Ms. Whipke?
Yes.
Mr. Pelot?
Yes.
Mr. Gaynor?
Yes.
Mr. McClone?
Yes.
Mr. Carratt?
Yes.
Mr. Towesley?
Yes.
Mr. Kernan?
Yes. There's no introduction of prior legislation. Are there any public service announcements, Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, but I don't have any this evening.
Any other public service announcements?
I do have one.
Mr. Karen?
Maybe a little premature, but I'm going to toss this out anyway. Many of you in the past and from other cities have attended the community prayer breakfast, which, as I think I mentioned before, we've canceled, of course, the physical presence of a meeting. We are going to be doing a video with Judge McKinney and posting that, and it's going to be done somewhat as a fundraiser also for Emma. More of that's going to come out on the Kiwanis website. I'll try to get the information over to Carrie when that's available to me, and we're hoping to post it the same time as the National Day of Prayer would be, which is a week from this Thursday.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
Just a question. As far as the city's concerned, are we doing anything with relation to, as businesses open back up here next week or start to open back up, how we're going to handle complaints or who's going to handle those?
Let me ask you, Scott, what kind of complaints are you anticipating?
Maybe a business that shouldn't be open, that wasn't authorized to be open. Maybe they went ahead, opened, and a neighbor or somebody, another store is ticked off and say, hey, wait a minute, I have the same business. I'm not allowed to open. Why are they open? Things
Mr.
like
Fowler?
that.
Well, DeWine said today that the health departments were going to handle that.
That's what I was going to say.
And I thought that's what he said, but I didn't know if we get calls at the city or something, how those are going to be handled. Just directed to the health department?
Yes.
Just as a reminder, if I understood correctly, what they said today is starting May 12th, when the retail and all those go back up, or looking forward to them too, if nothing goes wrong in between. At that time, it's going to be mandatory for people to wear their mask going into any of these places of business, or else they won't be allowed in. Everybody ought to be practicing that right now when they go into a public business. And in your car, at home, out walking around, or in the park, that's one thing. But anytime we go into a place of business, you should be having your mask on now and getting used to doing it. It's the only way we're actually going to get rid of this thing. If we keep on doing what we've been doing, keeping the distance and wearing the mask and doing the sanitizing thing.
Just a quick note to go along with that is the Board of Health, we had reviewed the effectiveness of this. And of course, we're a long ways from eliminating COVID, but it has completely shut down influenza. We usually measure it till the end of May, and there's not a bit of it. So it has had a wonderful side effect of stopping the influenza. So.
Well, hopefully it'll have a side effect of stopping COVID also.
So we're hoping.
If the people continue to wear masks, and I'm along with Charlotte adamantly opposed to, I think all businesses should require that their employees wear masks, and any person going in a business should be wearing a mask. I can't believe the people that I see in the neighborhoods, in the businesses around that are going in and out of businesses. Half of them, or more than half, do not wear a mask. And it's at the detriment of their own families that they're doing this. It's ridiculous.
Well,
you should wear your mask.
One of the main methods of transmission of these things is always money, especially paper money. So if you're going in and getting or giving paper money, you can't really wash it, but you can disinfect it if you have one of the wands or the ultraviolet light. Yeah, just have to be careful. Handle money as if it's poison. So.
All right. Anything further? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.
Hi.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Hey.
Hey, Charlotte, turn on your lights, will you?